Happy New Year's. Yeah, not like I missed the first week of the new year, but I thought it was like good to have a little break and sort of figure out what I wanted to do. So, in saying that, I definitely want to improve drawing wise, and to do that, we sort of have to start from the basics of some sorts. Was I gonna do still lives? No, because sometimes I do that already. And also, doing those types of things isn't like too bad for me personally, especially still lives of like objects. But in saying that, I thought that I would go into anatomy because I draw a lot of people. I don't know if you've noticed, but because of that, I feel like that's one of the better places to start improving is to learn how to draw anatomy. And to do that, you need a lot of references. I think this might be enough. No? It's never enough references. Anyways, so I basically start warming up for the day, and I do this over the course of 2 days, basically. But I start warming up, and I thought I'd have to use pen because of the lighting. Turns out pencil was alright, so I don't know, man. But anyways, so I start and I look at references more specifically of buff people just to get a bit more idea of their musculature. If you want to make forms more dynamic, you have to know how people's muscles form or like how muscles are attached in a way, because that's where you get your ridges, bumps, creaks, and you know where your shadows and light goes. When it comes to the human body, of course, it doesn't really matter much if you do cover your people in a lot of clothes. But if you want to learn something, you gotta learn it completely, most of the way through. All of the way through. But I'm lazy. And I also don't tend to draw naked people, so I think it's a pass. The other thing too is like learning how to do shorthand. So after I've learned basically like a bit more about musculature and study references a bit and like do gesture drawings and try to really break myself into being disciplined enough to study images, I sort of work and like practice a bit shading, see like trying to copy what I see. And I do try two different things. So typically if you see me draw, I start with the head and then I'll do a line of action and then go from there. Um some other people might start with the torso. And although the head tends to be more proportionate to the entire piece, at the end of the day, it's not my go-to. I could see why someone would, though, and I could also see that in some poses it might be better to start with the torso rather than starting with the head. But I go head first in everything, I guess. So yeah, that's just a little side note, though. Uh, it's not a tutorial by any means, but yeah. So basically, it's just me trying to learn how to draw figures for this whole thing, and it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spreads approximately to get a bit more comfortable, and there's still going to be a lot of practicing that happens, but I find it really hard for me to find the discipline to actually like sit down and be like, okay, I guess we're going to take in every detail or a lot of detail as we can from like this reference photo nowadays. I don't know, it's just it seems tedious and it's probably overwhelming, but definitely breaking it down into shapes first, and then sort of outlining what you know is for sure there, and then shading. It really helps to do it that way. But I also try to limit myself not to take too long on every figure as well. That way you get a bit faster and you can find shortcuts a lot easier. One of the things that I typically have problems drawings are the like arms sometimes. One of the things you have to remember though is the groups of muscles that helps to define the forms of the arms, which is very helpful to know, especially when it comes to when you turn the arms or when you try to figure out how should the arms move, and especially when it comes to like that elbow piece. It can be sort of tricky to figure out, especially the inside or the crux of your elbow as well. So just figuring out muscle groupings helps a lot. And then the abdomen was alright, mostly because I draw like a rib cage like shape, and then I draw the abdomen and then the pelvis like shape before going into the legs typically, and then working from there. It's nice to know the little details like the ridges and bumps though, that really helps to form what a leg should look like, even though I give a lot of my characters baggy pants. But yeah, so just it's a good way to start the new year, sort of like trying to learn and improve on things, because I find that I need to learn and improve on a lot of things. There's a lot to do, and the only way to get better is to actually do it. So yeah, it's a bit of a shorter video. I think a lot of the videos tend to be shorter nowadays because I'm like, what do I even talk about? Because I feel like there isn't too much on my end to talk about, I guess. And I feel like I'm not qualified to exactly tell you guys how to do something, but I can be there when you try. So hopefully in the future this encourages you to draw, maybe with me as I tackle these things. And yeah, hopefully that encourages you to also practice drawing and to learn how to draw, because this was the beginning and this is the end. Improvement has occurred, and that's only in like 2 days basically of just practicing and looking up references and like doing sort of gesture drawings, and also trying to do it as quickly as I can. Usually in less than an hour is preferable, like 30 minutes maybe. But yeah, it was good, and then got a bit of hand practice in, and then got some ideas to do actual like character pieces that I have in mind. So that's all nice and neat. And yeah, it's also filling up the sketchbook, which is crazy. And although the sketchbook doesn't have a lot of finished sketches, I do hope to finish it by the end of this month, maybe, just so then we can have a sketchbook tour and use a new sketchbook, which is always exciting and, fun. And it's also like time to open a new chapter. It is January, good time to start new things. But yeah, I hope you guys really did enjoy this little session, this little video. It's not really much of a session depending on how I edit it and how I cut it, but I always base how the videos will be on the audio. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to go back to the basics once in a while and like practice that a bit more. And I hope you guys actually have a good new year. 2025 has been a bit of a roller coaster already, because the end of 2024 was a bit of a burning fire. But then at 2025 in the beginning, I've been very emotional lately. And it's not ideal for me because I feel like I'm not being as productive. But you know what? I've learned a bit of anatomy, definitely about the upper torso, a little bit about the legs, and I'm happy to hopefully apply that in the future. With that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I swear I'm okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys all stay safe, stay hydrated, and have a wonderful day. Bye!